Greetings again. This is your girl, Ava the Diva. And today is Saturday. It's going to be a mix up of cooking and fashion and, the whole deal of life. So today I'm making goat soup for a party. We're having a Christmas party. And so I'm making goat soup. So in here, I have started up just tenderizing the goat pieces and goat belly. If you haven't had goat belly soup, you're missing something. So right now it's just with some seasoning in here and the goat belly to tenderize it and make it nice and soft before anything can be added to this stuff. So I'm an island girl, so in the islands, it all depends on what you're cooking. But many times when you're cooking soup, is a dash of this, a dash of that. So it's not 2 tablespoons of anything happening here today. It's a dash. Like dashing in the soup, not in the snow. In the soup, we're dashing things. So this is just the beginning of this wonderful goat soup that is going to be happening for the party. And I will be right back with all the extra stuff that's going to be added to this amazing, delicious soup that's going to be turning out today. So this is everything that I'm going to be putting into that goat soup. So here we got the onions. Some places, depends on where you are in the world, where you're from. Some call this, I think this is Tanya. It's a Grenadian name, Tanya. And this one here is cocoa. So there are 2 different kinds. And if I'm wrong, please excuse me. But I do know this is cocoa. And from Grenada, this is Tanya. It might be called something else in Jamaica and other places. And we have the green banana. This one is going to be cut up with the skin. I'm not throwing the skin away. This is going to be cut up with the skin. All the nutrients, all the vitamins are in the skin. And we have some peppers here, colored peppers we're going to put in here. As well, we got the yellow yam, very important for food here in the soup. We got squash. This is a really nice squash. When it breaks down, it gives the soup a nice color. So because I have that, I'm not going to use cock soup. I'm not going to do that because you could use this for chicken or something. You could use it in that soup as well, but we'll see. But we have the ram goat, so the ram goat soup mix, so I'm going to use this instead. And we have green onions, some call this scallion, and I have thyme somewhere, so thyme is going to be added into this soup as well. So it's a little bit of this and a little bit of that, a dash of it, a pinch of it. No teaspoon measurement here is happening today, or cup measurement. It is a dash of everything. So here for this party, I also have some beans here, kidney beans. So we're making rice and peas for this party as well. We have a scotch bonnet pepper, we have thyme and scallion and onions that are going to be going into this. I also have some ground spice, some rice and pea seasoning. I'm going to dash in there, pinch dash. We're doing a pinch dash measurement, all right? So that's what's going to be happening for the rice and peas, and also jerk chicken. Ooh, Ava the Diva jerk chicken, the best, homemade. And so that's the flour and cornmeal for the goat soup. So everything is pulling together over here. We already have a lot of this stuff cut up. They're all going to be going in the pot at separate times. We're not dashing everything in there. I'm going to pinch it out and put it in the soup at separate times, because these things, they cook at different textures, and you want to have texture when you're eating soup. You don't want everything break down in your mouth and mushy, because for instance, we have green bananas cut up here. The peel take a while to cook. Even if the meat will be cooked, it will be soft, it's okay because it will add texture to the soup. We want to put this in first to break down with the pumpkin squash, whatever you have. This is a sweet squash, so when it breaks down, it's going to give you that color. And then we have yams. You want your yam, when you're eating that soup, you want to feel the texture. You don't want it to be soft and mushy. You want to taste that. You want to have a chew to it or a little bite to it. Same as with the cocoa and Tania, right? So this is what we're going to be putting in the soup right off the back. I opened my Scotch bonnet pepper because I want that kick to the soup, right? And we have the thyme. I'm going to tease the thyme where I'm going to pull a lot of the leaves off the stem so it's scattered in the pot, and the carrot and the peppers are going to be add the last 15 minutes to the soup, because you want to, again, not have too much breakdown. When you're eating a soup, you want to feel those textures. But first of all, the onions, the Scotch bonnet, and the thyme is going to be going into the soup right now. Okay guys, so the pot is boiling, like really nice. The goat's belly and the goat leg is really cooking up in here. And so now I'm going to add my squash, because I want my broth to be thick before I add everything else in. So I'm putting my squash in. So I'm gonna leave that, let it break down, and when it gets to a really good texture is when I will be adding my scallion, which I already have in a bowl here to dash. The scallion, I still have to put that in with the thyme. I tease the thyme off the branches so you can have it scattered in the pot, and then the flavor will just it will be nice. So I teased it a little bit there, and I cut my Scotch bonnet because the amount of liquid I have in a pot, just leaving the Scotch bonnet whole is not going to give it the flavor. So I cut the Scotch bonnet open so I can, the seed is what gives you all that that hot flavor. So that I'm going to do. And in the meantime, I have going on here my rice and peas liquid is all infused with what we got here now. Let's see. We got the Grace coconut powder, and I have some Irie rice and peas seasoning over here. Rice and peas seasoning, and then we have this is basil. I don't want that. We have some allspice seasoning, allspice ground seasoning that's going in there. And again, I cut that Scotch bonnet open because I wanted to have that rice and peas, that Scotch bonnet flavor in the rice and peas. And again, I tease my my thyme off the branches so it can be all scattered and infused into that rice and peas. And here, this is boiling. I haven't yet put my peas in because it's pre-cooked. So I already had that pre-cooked. And so I'm just boiling all this up here now. Let the flavor be right. And then I'm going to put my peas in. Let it sit for another, 10 minutes boiling in. And then I will add my rice. So that's the whole startup process here for that delicious soup. that's coming on its way, and let's give it a stir here. And you can see this is going to be broken down and give it a really nice flavor. And then I will add my packet soup, the goat soup mix, the ram goat soup. We want that ram goat flavor in there. So over here, so to speed up the process with the squash bean in the pot, I'm going to crush it down a little bit, so just to making sure that it's broken up quite well, because if you have to wait for the pot to boil and boil, it will be boiling like forever. So you just take your, mash, your potato crusher, whatever crusher you call that. I don't know what you call this, mashed potato crusher, squash crusher. So we can just do this, and then because it's quite soft right now, it's broken down quite nicely in here, and I can do that stuff. So because I'm going to turn the heat up to high, right, and you see now the real thing is happening. It's boiling up. So this is going to help everything to dilute and come to a real nice broth. So as this is boiling up, I'm going to add my soup mix. I'm going to add my soup mix in here, so to get it to a real nice flavor. And at this point here is when I'm adding all of the seasoning, all that good seasoning, because I want my broth to be ready when I add all the food in, so nothing is going to be overcooked. When the broth is ready and it's at a good texture and taste is when I add my food in. And dumplings, you can't miss the spinners. We're going to make dumplings, all right, and put in here as well. So for now, we're putting all that, and the scallion and onions and thyme, and I have teased the thyme a bit by taking off all the leaves, so it's nice and scattered. So that is going in here. Give it a nice little stir. Give it a nice stir there. And my goat soup mix is also going in. Oh, I didn't cut this right. But anyways, you know what I mean. I'm going to cut the hole a bit bigger, and the ram goat. So this is going to give the soup the ram goat flavor, because I don't have that stinking ram goat. I cannot stand the smell, but the taste is always good. But this is the ram goat soup mix we're going to add here, and that's going to give you the ram goat flavor. All right. So, and then we're going to leave this up to a nice boil, and then I'll be adding all the food to it when it's at its perfection, when the broth is at its best texture. All right, so give it a minute to boil up, and then I will leave that to itself for now. So everything is boiling up real nice here. This is ready here. The liquid is ready for the rice. So we have the peas, and everything else is happening. Let's have a look at the soup mix. Is just foggy fog. So everything is boiling up in here. The texture is getting a lot thicker. You can see that real nice texture. So we have all the scallion, the onions, the thyme, the goat leg, and we have the goat belly in here, coming to a real nice perfection. So here I have my liquid. My pot is very limited, and I'm challenging 7 cups of, let's turn this down a bit, 7 cups of rice. My rice is already washed. So people, wash your rice. Please, please, please wash your rice. Not from the bag and into the pot. Wash your rice. So this is washed nicely. And your meats, your goat's belly and your goat, when you finish cutting that up, make sure you're putting vinegar in that water or lime, whichever lemon you have. We wash our meats from the islands. We put lemon or vinegar to that water. I stopped buying rotisserie chicken from any store, and I'm not going to call the names of these stores. You know, the big box store, you go and buy that rotisserie chicken, and when you taste that chicken, it's almost slimed in your mouth. Them people no washing nothing. Right from the bag, they sprinkle some water in it and onto the skewer to cook your chicken. What is so slow cooking? Oh, the steam is going to stop all the bacteria, kill the bacteria. Bullshit. Sorry, my French. Wash your meat with vinegar or lime, right? No drums and killing none, because when you put that meat in your mouth, it doesn't taste right. It's slimy. It's slimed. Okay, so this is ready for my rice, and so this is going in head on. And I'm not going to give this rice too much of a stir at this point, because you can see what's happening here. It's already, full. And so I still have room when it's swollen up. So the taste and everything is right. So I'm not going to be stirring this rice and peas too much, because what happens when it starts getting swollen and you keep stirring, it's going to overtake the pot. So I just wanted to really cook slowly, and that should be, I have enough space here, I believe, for the swelling. So Lord, help me with this one. I am over challenging myself, because this is an induction range, and I can't just go and buy any pot to put on the stove. And I do have a few other pots, but it's just not going to work on this stove, on this range. So this is the most I'm going to stir this and cover it down on a really slow cook, and let it take to itself. All right, I can't find my lid now, but I'm going to find it soon. All right, so that is that. And here now we're going to mix the flour for the soup, right? So the one thing I really dislike, and I have gone down this road many times in my life until one day I say, I am not doing that no more, is by taking my hand and mixing into this flour. And some people love their fingers covered with, flour, but Eva, the diva, don't like that. So I use a spoon while I get my water. I'm going to fill this baby up here. Eva the diva is not doing that today. All right, so this is what I do. I put the water in, and it's usually done a little bit more careful with my mixing. And this is how I mix my flour, and I'm not telling no lie. This is what I do for years now. I never stick my hand in there. It's always been done like this. At the end, however, is when I will mix it, where my fingers are not drenched up with all that flour mix. And it's nice to touch textures and stuff. I have done that with all of these ingredients that I've added to these meals. So this is, I'm going to get my hand in eventually. It needs more water. And so, but that's how I mix my flour to start. And at the end, like I say, I'm going to mix it all up. So this is all happening here. The soup mix is almost to its perfection, where I can start adding, but I'll give it another 10 minutes to come to that perfection, and then I will add everything else, and I will Continue to mixing my flour. And then is the big boy. You know what is the big boy? The jerk chicken with the Walker's Wood seasoning. It's been marinated for what, 4 days now. So you know what's up with that chicken. Them boy gonna ball when they eat. Man, I'm telling you. Yeah, I'm cooking for the men today mainly. Because you know what? When them food hit your back, guess what? You're gonna work harder. And I'm not talking about that work. I'm talking about going out and bringing home the bacon. So from Ava the Diva kitchen to your wife's kitchen, that's it. That's for my party tonight. It's heading into Christmas 2023. And so we're having a party. My husband loves to have parties. I don't, but I'm the one that always have to make these foods. So now I don't mind because I'm doing it also to show you my cooking skills, which I never had before. I just self-taught myself how to cook, and now I'm cooking like the Jamaicans, and the people who are eating this food is Jamaicans. I'm from Grenada, but I really don't have Grenadian friends. Well, maybe 2 will be there who we have come to knowing living in Canada. So I do know a couple Grenadians, but this is Jamaican cooking, and Jamaicans are requesting my soup. So just imagine they're saying my soup is better than my husband's soup. So look here, I have turned it up. So see you in a minute when everything is going into that pot. Let it boil for now. So look at that bad boy. Look at that bad boy. It's all boiling up. So what I'm going to be doing now is adding my bananas, my green bananas. I should have added it about 5 minutes ago, but hey, it's never too late. They got to get in there. So this is the time. So this is going to cook by itself for probably 10 minutes max to really get to the texture that I want. So 10 minutes on that. Going to be cooking 10 minutes, and then I will add everything else that needs to go in there, so everything will be at a really great textures, my pardon. So there we go. And my rice and peas is coming along here. I am not trying to stir this bad boy too much because I don't want it to over spill. The pot size is limited. So it's just really on low cooking, and that's all I wanted to do. Take its time and cook. Yeah, and the flour for the dumplings are already mixed. And I have worked my finger at the end a little bit, but I didn't get all that, have to pull off the flour too much. So that is it. Continuing to cook, and then we'll see the jerk chicken process. So this is how we do it. Okay, so the soup is boiled up to the perfection that I want it. And now I have my yams going in here. Okay, there's a few pieces of banana, but that's okay, even if it's not this, totally cooked to like a breakdown kind of thing. It's still it will be still fine. So yeah, I just put my yams in, and this is going to be cooking, and then I will be adding my cocoa next. So I'm going to put all of this in here because now the dumplings are going in right after this, right? So now the yams and the cocoa and everything is in here. I'm going to be getting my spinners in here, right? So lots of flour. I'm not going to be using all of this. I'm going to use it for another dumpling and saltfish or something, the extra of this. But yeah, so this is a cornmeal mixed with flour, and that's what a dumpling is. Yo, 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 look at this. Look at that. The spinners are in, dumpling, flour and cornmeal, whatever you want to call it. I call it dumpling. Look at the dumplings in there, man. They're floating, so we know that they're ready. But you cannot overcook dumplings. So at this stage, I'm going to add my carrots and my sweet peppers. So some might say, cooking goat soup, why y'all put that in there for? Ava da diva cooking, right? So this is my way. It's goat soup, but I'm adding carrots and I'm adding peppers to my goat soup. So we're doing it up the Ava da diva way, because hey, no two persons are alike and no two persons do the same thing the same way, right? So my goat soup have peppers in it, and I didn't want this to overcook, so this is why I'm adding it at the end. The dumplings are floating, so we know things are about to ready. But when you're stirring your pot and you have put in yams, while stirring, you can feel if your food is cooked, because based upon how it's hitting the spoon, you can tell it has some hardening to it still. So this is going to cook for another 10 minutes and everything will be at its best texture. I don't want, my food to be too soggy. So when I mean the food, for most, if it's Jamaican, they know what I'm going to talk about. But we are talking about the yam and the cocoa and stuff like that. I don't want it to be too soft. And my carrots and my peppers, I don't want it to be too soft either. So I would say a good 10 minutes cooking right here at this temperature. I'm going to lower this down to like 5 and 5.5 and let it do its thing, and that's goat soup. You will see when I'm done here. So let's check our soup. Let's see what's happening here. So we can see the dumplings are floating, which means they're cooked. That's a sign, right? And I have tested my yams and my Tanya, cocoa and Tanya's, and they are cooked. So the heat will finish cooking, bringing it to a softer texture, including the carrots. These are things you don't want to be boiled down and mushy like mashed potatoes. You want it to have texture. So adding everything at a certain time will allow your soup to be at its best perfection. So I'm going to just turn this up here on high and bring it up to a nice good boiling stage. It has been boiling for, this has been going for hours now. So I know that the soup itself, the broth, is at its best texture. You can see it's liquid, but it's not runny. It has texture to it. You don't want your soup like what I will say being porridge, right? You want your soup where you're drinking broth and you can enjoy the textures at the same time. So this is goat soup with goat belly, goat leg in here, mixed with a whole bunch of different things as you go through the whole video, right? So that is that. I'm going to turn this back down to 2 minutes and then I turn it off. And here's our rice and peas. A 7 cup of rice and peas in, I don't know what size pot this is, but you can see not a very large pot. I don't know how much, liters. But this is what we have arrived with here. And my rice is steaming. I as I said before, I didn't want to stir this pot after I have stirred it, because it will only get bulky and bulky as you stir. So the secret is to, if you want to cook a, this size pot, you can get 7 cups of rice right in here. But you want to make sure that everything is at its perfection, where you don't have to keep stirring the rice and peas. And so for this, I put the foil paper over top, and so it can stay and steam. So I'm gonna leave that here for another I'll say 20 minutes steaming, and it will be at its best perfection. This is the remaining of my flour that's left over. Dumplings. I'm going to use this for some boiled dumpling with some ackee and saltfish. So let's see how our rice are doing here. So let's remove the foil covering. And this looks like it is to perfection. Has cooked to perfection. 7 cups of rice in right here. Doing this baby, doing this bad boy. That's what you get. So, and the soup looks really good. It's just sitting there. It's on warm right now, so we'll just leave that on warm, and we are going to do the bad boy, the chicken, the jerk chicken, man. Let's do it. So guys, oh my gosh, this is the moment that I was waiting to show you. The jerk chicken. Been marinating for 4 days now in Walker's Wood jerk seasoning. So not only that, I put an all-purpose seasoning from Cool Runnings. Also, there is garlic salt and some browning, because you don't want it to be too white. This is some frost you're seeing on there still, because I marinated it and put it in the freezer. Have taken it out, so it's slightly defrost right now. And so this is going to be going into the oven to be cooked. And my goodness, I don't know. Everyone who tastes my jerk chicken just says, I want you to cook that jerk chicken again. So I'm expecting that reaction again from this jerk chicken here. So it's going in the oven, and you'll see it when it's out. So the secret to the jerk chicken process is not just putting it in the oven without moisture. So you must add, so I have my jerk chicken on the tray right now, and as I've mixed the extra seasoning, I have poured some water into it, because your jerk chicken, if you're putting it in the oven, you must have moisture for it to cook properly. So a good jerk chicken requires the sauce to give it that life, right? You don't want to bake your jerk chicken. You want it to come out with good texture and not overcooked. So I say about 45 minutes in a preheated at 350. You have the perfect jerk chicken, not overcooked, but right to perfection, that it will fall off the bone. So that's my jerk chicken. We have my rice and peas here, and 7 cups held in this pot. Not stirring your rice and peas every 2 minutes. You stir it, you make sure everything is mixed together, all your seasoning, and you can cook a lot of rice in a small pot. And that's the soup. It's on low right now. It's going to sit there because your food's supposed to be at a warming temperature after cooking. So because I have to bake my jerk chicken, I cannot put my food into the oven right now. So everything is on low right now to keep the heat, because after 2 hours your food starts to develop bacteria. So we have to be mindful of keeping food at a warm temperature. I have ran a restaurant for 5.5 years, and I know about heating. I've heard my husband so many times, the food has to be at a temperature, and then either you move it to a refrigerator or you continue to heat it. All right, so you want to keep your gut safe and all of these things while eating really good Jamaican food here. All right, so this is it. Going in the oven now, and you'll see that bad boy when it's out. Hey, so this concludes my cooking segment. My food is all warming in the oven. Jerk chicken and rice and peas. The soup is warming because you got to keep everything at the heated temperature, the right temperature. And I'm going to go get ready for my party. So you'll see me in a minute. Okay, so this is a look after all the cooking today. This is a look for my party. And that jerk chicken and that rice and peas, man, look at it. This is the look for today. All right, so let's put this on and you see a complete, oops. Get it out of the way, get it